Hello, everyone, and welcome to FergieTime podcast, a weekly podcast with me and Connor. Um, Obviously, in this podcast, you know the drill by now. We talk about United and the upcoming fixtures, and the fixtures that just been before, and the results, all that kind of stuff. So, our first topic today, which is fresh in our minds, is the Stoke game. So, Connor, why don't you kick us off and your general thoughts?
Well, it was it was going forward, wasn't it? Again, just like the Newcastle game, Van Persie and Rooney. Well, what a partnership. But again, defensive problems let us down. It kind of put a downer on the whole game, really, didn't it? Just giving away cheap goals. The Kitely goal was that was ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, that Kitely goal just made it. It just summed up our defence at the moment, and kind of the way we are playing defensively is pretty appalling. For a top four side that is
One of the biggest sides in the world.
to be conceding goals at home. It's against Stoke. Stoke aren't very. They're not set up to play like that. That goal was very freakish from them. So to concede that kind of goal at Old Trafford as well is very, very strange. It's something that will not get us the Champions League. No chance at all.
It was really similar to the Vertonghen goal.
Yeah.
He just broke free. Ferdinand and Evans just seemed scared to tackle him, and it did take a big bounce off Rio's foot, I think it was, which really let Kitely in.
Yeah.
And it was a bit unlucky, but they just looked scared to tackle it. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with the defensive display, but like you said, the attack was pretty outstanding. You got Danny Welbeck, who obviously not finishing as well as he can, but he did get on the score sheet. Van Persie and Rooney, as you said, are delivering at the moment. Rooney's starting to click into place. He's always one of those players that will go through the stages of not playing not playing well.
He's a confidence player.
Yeah,
that's exactly what
he'll get a series of games and he'll just grow on it and he'll just get so much better. If you got him and Van Persie bringing in the goals, then any team, should be afraid of us, even Chelsea next weekend.
This is the best strike force we've had since we won the Champions League by a mile.
Yeah, it's kind of strength and depth. I do fear for Javier Hernandez and I do fear for Makeda, but them two, on the latter one, Makeda, I don't think he's going to cut it at United ever. I think he's been ruined by loan spells at. Who did he go to? Did he go to? He went to Italian.
He went to Queen's Park Rangers.
Yeah, and he went to Italian side before that.
Mm.
But he's been screwed over by that, and I think that's really affected his chances. Whilst Javier Hernandez, I still think he has a pivotal role. I just don't see how much he can put up with it. He loves the club. It's evident. He loves the club. Like in interviews, he's always bubbly, and he's always stated that how nice we were getting him from Chivas to United in the first place. So he definitely, I think he would prefer to stay. But if times are getting tough for him, then I think he'll go.
Well, I was having this conversation on Twitter the other day, and everyone seems to think that eventually he'll go. It's a difficult one with Hernandez because it all depends on how much playtime he's going to get. And if we go off the start of the season, he's not going to get much. I mean, Welbeck started over him again today. I was also having a conversation, who would we like to see replace Hernandez if he were to leave? And most people said they didn't want to see anyone. They wanted someone like Enriquez, or even one person said Makeda, to come and replace him and get a chance in the first team. And I don't really get that, to be honest, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. I think it's good having the four strikers, but it's just, like I said, how long can he put up with being that fourth choice striker? Because Welbeck is going to be in front of him, and then you've got Rooney and Van Persie.
Well, when you've got teams like Real Madrid sniffing around Hernandez, his head's going to be turned after a while.
Do you believe those rumours, though? Like, do you really feel Real Madrid would actually go?
Well, I'd say that United would ask for about 15 to 20 million pounds, and I can't see any team, even Real Madrid, paying that amount of money for a player that's fourth choice striker at United. I mean, Madrid are a better team than us, so he's not going to get more playing time at a team like them. I think a team like Arsenal or even Liverpool, who are short on strikers, I think he'd be very, very good there. But yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, on the whole, the Stoke game was generally good. We did win. We got the win quite convincingly in the end, but as the way we done it was pretty shoddy. I have to just it wasn't the way we should do it. It should be a 4-5 nil victory, really. I know you can say teams change and develop to the way United play, but we should be clearing these games off like easy. Just get them out of the way. There shouldn't be much hassle because we are putting in a lot of energy in these games, but we can be
Mm.
focusing on more top four, top six, top eight games. Not like this Stoke. I don't consider them that good anymore. That I don't know. I felt we made it very very tough on ourselves, and it was our fault
Well,
alone.
I think some of the criticisms are a bit unfair. We've got two centre backs fit right now, recognised first team centre backs anyway. And we're still winning games. We're second in the league, only 4 points behind Chelsea. I don't think it's been a good start, and it was a good performance today. I think once Smalling and Jones and Vidic, obviously way down the line, are back, I think we'll look good again.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I think we are coping exceptionally well, but it's just that defence. We still need to nail it down.
Can you imagine Chelsea only having John Terry and Louise, or can you imagine City just having Nastasic and Lescott? City would crumble. So I
Yeah,
think we're doing a good job.
yeah, we definitely are. So that kind of leads us on to the next two fixtures that we got coming up. We got Braga in Champions League, and we also got Chelsea away. Um, your thoughts on the Braga game? Do you think it's going to be a pretty stroll in the
Walk in the
park?
park.
Or
Yeah. It. I can't see us doing anything but winning in that game. Maybe a little bit arrogant because of last season, the Champions League, but we seem to have sorted that out this year, and it should be a relatively comfortable win.
I can't really see much problems. But the Cluj game was, although it looked like a shocking performance, the way we come back to win the game was more meaningful than just strolling into a 4-0 victory. I know I'm
Mm.
kind of contradicting myself and saying, we should be winning games 4-5 nil, but the way we kind of got back in the game, we kind of controlled it for, I'd say, the majority of the game, apart from the first 20 minutes. The rest of the game, we basically just took it at our pace, and then we eventually got the two goals. Um, but definitely this game, I can see a lot more convincing victory. Just get our goal difference up, have a good game, play proper football.
I think it'll be about getting the confidence up.
Yeah,
Looking at the Chelsea game, if you can get 4 or 5 goals against Braga, then that'll do nicely going into what is, in my opinion, probably the toughest game of the season.
yeah, definitely. Like we are playing Chelsea at the most annoying time for us because they are basically hitting form at the right time for
They're in
them.
terrifying form,
You know,
absolute terrifying
how
form.
many points are they ahead of that? 4 points in
I
front
think
of
it's
us
four.
now.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't consider that much now, but if
It's
they if
it's
they
the
get
way
the
that they're doing it.
yeah, and also if they get the victory, 7 points clear. That looks like a lot of gap to because there's still there's still lots of games to go in the season, but you've got to consider they will not drop that many points if you don't do it ourselves.
Well,
If we don't do the damage ourselves, you can't really rely on Arsenal just crumbled at home to them. What? There's no guarantee
mm,
other teams are going to step up to the
e-
plate. So
every point matters. The last season proved that. We
yeah,
lost a goal on goal difference. We lost the league, sorry, on goal difference.
yeah,
It could happen again. There's no saying that it won't happen again. And like City today, coming back from behind in the last 10 minutes, that could have kept them in the title race.
yeah,
Really, because if
yeah,
they didn't do that at the end of the season, it could have cost them. So
yeah. I can. Dzeko, I've never rated him as a player, but he seems very influential when he's been on the pitch for him.
super sub.
Yeah, he's very, very reminiscent of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Um, so yeah, we still, still a long way to go in the season, but I think it does rely on these kind of type of games, the Chelsea away game when we're playing Arsenal away. I still think Arsenal are going to be up there. Um, Man City away, Man City at home. We've still got those big, big games. We need to make sure we're at least picking up a point in most of those. to keep up with the Chelsea, because you just can't let them get away.
A draw against Chelsea would be a very, very good result for us.
Well, yeah, you know how much it meant to come back from 3-1, well, 3-0 down, sorry, to come back and win 3-all last season. So, they can crumble. It depends on how they play. Just exploit their defence. I think their defence is very weak compared to us, I think, personally.
Well,
But
it's David Luiz, isn't it? I mean, he's crazy. I've never really rated him, and he'll definitely be a player that Van Persie and Rooney can exploit. Definitely.
yeah. Um, so our next topic, what have we got any things to talk about that you want to kind of specifically talk about?
I actually want to talk about Danny Welbeck because there's been a lot of criticism going his way, especially today after the game today. His finishing, obviously, and he played on the wing again today, and it just kind of confused me as to why he keeps getting played out on the wing. I think Rooney would do a better job on the wing if Ferguson wants to insist on playing like that. So, yeah, a lot of criticism for Welbeck, so I just wanted to know what you thought of it.
Um, I rate him as a player. Like I just said earlier, I think his finishing definitely has to get drastically better to really cut it. I can see why he's been put on the wing, because he does have that pace and that kind of consistency compared to, let's say, Nani at the moment. Um,
Mm,
like, he's not an out and out winger. He has played there younger when he was younger in his career, but he just offers a bit more reliability going down that wing compared to Nani. You just don't know what you're going to get with Nani. Is he going to track back and help Evra? Is he going to help, the full backs? And I just think he's a better all-around attacker-minded player at the moment. Obviously, Nani on his day on the wing is untouchable. He's one of, I'm not going to say Ronaldo-esque, but he can play in that kind of way, the manner that you saw Ronaldo in his early years at United.
he's got it in him.
Yeah, but I can see why Ferguson has gone with putting Welbeck on the wing, because he offers that consistency. He knows he's going to get a solid game. It might not be exceptional. He doesn't know many techniques to beat defenders, but when he does, he's kind of got the pace, and he's got the physique is a bit more built up, I think, than a bit more presence on the wing. So that's why I think he's gone with him for this kind of game. Personally, when we're playing Chelsea or kind of bigger fixtures, I still think Nani is more suited to them, because he loves that occasion. He loves like playing against the big teams and showing
What about Ashley Young? He loves the game against the big teams. That's
it's a
undeniable.
tough one. Um, I really feel the criticism of him the end of last season was very, very unfair. I
Mm.
know he only offers one route of beating a defender, which is dropping the shoulder and then going the other way, or crossing first time. But I still think he is a quality player. I've rated him, when he was Aston Villa. He was
Mm.
always one of
The
those.
the thing that sticks in my mind about Ashley Young is his ability to perform in the big games. The 8-2 last season, I think, was one of the best performances from a winger I've seen in years from a United winger anyway.
But do you think that's why, because of that performance, United fans, well, certain United fans, any other performance he kind of has is on a down note, on a minor note?
That could well be, yeah, definitely. But also the Tottenham away game last season where I think he got 2 goals and an assist.
Yeah,
He basically won us the game. I mean, in the big game, he loves a big game. He loves it. Ajax away in the Europa League last season got us a crucial away goal. He delivers when he needs to. And I said this on Twitter the other day, and I got kind of slated. I'd rather have Young over Nani 90% of the time, to be honest.
I yeah, I think I kind of agree with it, and I kind of don't. I agree with it in the sense that Ashley Young has been in the Premier League longer. He knows what it takes. He knows how to kind of play the role of a winger more effectively. But I just think Nani offers a lot more. What's it? a lot more variety. I just think he's much more.
Mm.
He can give the defenders like Ivanovic a very very hard time. Like he will absolutely tore them to pieces on some days, and some
I
days he just will not deliver. So you've got to take that risk to get a bigger and better performance out of the whole team. Because once he's playing well, majority of the rest of the team are going to play to his level.
I can't help thinking Nani's coming to the end at United. January or the summer, and I really do think that he's gonna be out the door. And it's not, and that's not saying that I want him to go. I just, he, I don't know. I just think he's gonna go. I mean, reports saying that he almost went to Zenit on deadline day. They're believable, and I can't help thinking that he will leave, and somebody will come in.
I think it's just down to his arrogance off the pitch, and it's the way he's been twisted by his agent doesn't help. Agents in football do not help anyone. I've never known a good agent. I've
Well,
never.
Tevez' agent, he was.
Yeah, it's just disgraceful the way they kind of manipulate words and they drive a lot of money. Like I'm not going to go into the whole topic about how much footballers earn, how much they drive to get, but like Nani's agent, I'm guessing not 80% of that like negotiation come from him, not from Nani saying I want this extortionate wages.
What was it, 120 grand a week? Did he
It
want?
it was an insane amount of money, and Zenit obviously declined it. Although they're a wealthy team, they're not going to overpay for a player that's obviously willing to go from United. United to Zenit is a bit of a step down, so there
It's a
must be something
massive step
wrong
down.
with him. So I do feel he's being a bit arrogant in himself off the pitch. It's obvious, it's evident. But I think a lot of his downfall is the fact his agent has kind of brought it to the front of his head. Kind of this, you got to move on. Um, and I really feel he should be given another season or at least until the summer and see how he gets on then. I think getting rid of him in January is a bit of a stupid decision because who are you going to bring in? Who you
Well,
going to
I was about to ask who would you? I mean, there's been a few names mentioned in the media.
but
Tom Ince from Blackpool.
but what you bring in Tom Ince, he's not going to fit exactly straight in for the
Well,
season. He's not
the
going
other name, the other name, James Rodriguez.
to.
He's an impressive little player.
Yeah, but
Arguably better than Nani, to be quite frank. A
yeah,
lot younger.
I just see someone in the squad who is ready to play for us. Who is ready? He's obviously fit. He's eager to play football, but just there's something in the way. There's something whether it's between him or Fergie. Him just literally on the pitch just can't translate it to his body language and kind of stuff. I really don't know. I think he's an immense player. I'm not going to deny that, but I just think getting rid of him in January. Has he played? Has he played in the Champions League? He has, hasn't he?
I
Has he played?
think he played against Galatasaray.
Yeah. So therefore, clubs are not exactly. Big clubs are going to want to sign him because he's cup tied.
Well,
So
it's true.
you're losing market value. You're losing an influential player. You're losing a squad player, and you might just luckily get a player in, but probably have to pay double the price because the other club can pay they can charge you extortionate rates because you're going to have to buy a winger. If we
Mm.
get rid of him, we're going to have Ashley Young and Valencia who are out and out wingers. If Ashley Young gets injured again, which is very likely, and Valencia's not exactly, he had a good game today, but if he's not exactly on top form all the time, you're leaving yourself bare for no apparent
Mhm.
reason.
I think the thing with Nani is he brings the stats. I think for the last 2 seasons he's got at least 10 goals and 10 assists, and that's not something. I don't think Valencia will score 10 goals this season. He may get 10 assists, but he won't get 10 goals.
He's
Ashley Young, he won't get 10 goals. So in that regard, I think Nani's our best winger, and you'd have to get a top player like Rodriguez or Munayin to come in and replace those goals.
Yeah, I do agree. You have to get one in, one out. It can't just be him on his own. If he goes out, then we might as well just wave goodbye to having any depth in the squad and seeing no chance of winning more than the Premier League. You can. I I don't agree with the decision
Well,
to get rid of him
you
in
know,
January if that happens.
with this diamond formation, there are no wingers, and if Ferguson really takes to the idea of this diamond, then it could work. Not replacing Nani. That's not saying I want it to happen. I don't. You need to replace Nani if he's going to leave, but that's the way Ferguson could look at it. And yeah, I like the diamond formation though.
Yeah, I do like it. It works, gives us a bit more free flow, and it reminds me of the what season was it? I think it was the 0708 one
The
where we had
interchanging.
yeah.
Yeah.
It just reminded me of that so much. Obviously, it's not as quick paced as it was then, with the likes of Tevez and Ronaldo, but it still gave us that flow between the midfield to the defence and then midfield to attack. It was very, very. It complements each other and it complements the way United play. Um, one
It
topic.
also accommodates all the attacking players, which is something that we're finding really hard to do at the moment. Kago are not even involved at all today.
Yeah, but it's good that we've got depth that we can do that and rest him.
Mm.
After playing in nationals for
Talking of
Japan.
internationals,
Yep. Um, we had a couple of people out. Well, a couple of people playing for England. We had Cleverly, Welbeck. Um,
Rooney, Carrick,
yep. And who else did we have?
Evra played for France.
We had
Apparently,
Kagawa
he
for
had a very, very good game for France, Evra against Spain. I didn't watch it myself, but
No, I can't talk about. Well, I can't really talk in depth about that, but it's good to hear. And we had Kagawa for Japan.
Kagawa scored for Japan.
Yep.
Van Persie scored for Holland. Hernandez scored for Mexico. Rooney and Welbeck both scored for England. So it was a good international break for United players.
Luckily, no one actually got injured, did they?
Yeah, not one, but for the first time in what must be about 15 years, nobody came back with an injury from an international break, which is obviously great.
Yeah, it's a welcome change because
Yeah.
I'm fed up of coming back from international. You think, great, United's back, but then you realise, hold on, we're missing 3, 4 first team players. So it was very, very nice to them get a good run out and also not get injured. So I kind of wanted to talk to you about Connor is De Gea. The way Ferguson's kind of rotating between Lindegaard and De Gea. Personally, I'm just going to kind of sum up what I think. Lindegaard is a very solid keeper, but he's not going to develop any further. I think he's kind of set where he is, and the way he is, he's not a great shot stopper. He's a very average. He's all well rounded on every kind of aspect of positioning, for corners, coming out, good throws, all that kind of stuff. But De Gea, I think, is got so much more potential to grow. Obviously, he's younger, but he's got so much more eager eye, like Scholes in midfield, to find the perfect throw to the wings or into the middle to Van Persie. And I just think obviously he needs to work on the corners a little bit more against taller teams such as Stoke. But he coped all right today, I thought. So what do you kind of think about the rotation of keeping interchanging team, when you've got a different.
Well, I think it's basically exactly what you think. This interchange in the rotation, it doesn't work. We tried it with Howard and Roy Carroll a few years ago. It didn't work. The difference between De Gea and Lindegaard, as you say, well-rounded, average. I'd say he's better than that. He's above average. He's a very good goalkeeper, but David De Gea he's got potential to be the very best.
Yeah.
He's only got one weakness, and that's obviously his crossing and his taking of crosses and things like that. But once he gets that sorted, I think we've got a world-class keeper right there. Lindegaard, if you put Lindegaard and De Gea together, you've got an unbelievable goalkeeper, but obviously we can't do that. In my opinion, De Gea is number one. He'll always be number one. Lindegaard, he'll make a good cover, in certain Premier League games and FA Cup games, but apart from that, De Gea is going to be the main man eventually.
Yeah. There's always a method behind the madness of De Gea being, we brought him for a lot of money. I think it's in the region of 20 million.
18 million, I think.
Oh yeah, sorry, 18. So we obviously put a lot of trust in him to deliver. You don't just pay that for someone, especially a goalie. and
Yeah,
then
I mean,
to bring
there's
him
not many
straight to the team.
goalkeepers that are worth 18 million pounds.
No, not in this current climate. Like even, well, people like Buffon, years ago, that was unknown of to spend that amount of money for a goalkeeper. So 18 million for a very very young shot stopper is, unheard of. So for someone that's only played a half and no one season and nearly a half of another one to be delivering, on the big stage at United with a couple of mistakes, that's granted. Any keeper makes that. Which brings me on to my next thing. So, to bring him in, you need to keep him going. You need to keep that momentum to keep growing as a goalkeeper.
Well,
Lindegaard has come out and said, I think in a couple of interviews, he's happy, to be his understudy. Like, just kind of, he doesn't mind sitting on the bench and letting De Gea have the limelight. It's not a worry to Lindegaard to not have that number one spot. Obviously, he likes it, and when he comes in, when he deputises, he is a quality keeper and he keeps us in the game. But he's got no problem with it, so why doesn't De Gea just play all the games?
leaving the hair out is going to do absolutely nothing good for him. We saw at the end of last season when he got a clean run of games that he was making some unbelievable saves. I mean, the save to the Mata free kick at Stamford Bridge, one of the best saves I've ever seen, actually. In the situation, last minute and everything. Um, Leaving him out is only going to do one thing, and it's going to make him less confident, and that will affect his performances. And if you keep giving him games, then his confidence will rise, and he'll just get better and better. And it's a mistake leaving him out, but Fergie knows best and all that.
But yeah, that kind of brings me on to our next topic. It's about Joe Hart. I know it's a bit random, but because De Gea isn't obviously fluent in English yet, he doesn't do many interviews. From what I see, I don't know about you, but when like Joe Hart kind of defends himself and plays that little guilty trip card where he kind of just says, we're all in this together. He kind of defends himself from any blame. He deflects it and just kind of it was all it was a whole team fault. But if it's De Gea, he doesn't speak up for himself. He gets teammates, but it's
Has
not
Joe Hart really ever said that?
what.
That it's the team's fault?
Well, yeah, it was against Real Madrid. I think he said about that where he
No, I was
spoke
just
about.
thinking because against Poland for England on Tuesday night, afterwards he took the whole blame for the mistake.
Well, yeah, I didn't actually watch the aftermath of that game, but yeah, I'm kind of going off that Real Madrid game and a couple of games before that, where he's kind of defended his actions, perhaps, and well, you could relate it to that Poland game, like you said. What did he kind of just say? Just say it was his fault
He said
entirely.
it was his fault that England drew, basically, because he made the mistake on the corner.
Yeah, they're kind of links because Joe Hart making that mistake and then owning up to it kind of makes people go, "Oh, he's learnt from his mistakes. He's a great keeper. Give him a
Mm.
chance. He will learn from it." But if you look at De Gea, he makes a mistake. He doesn't go and make an interview straight away after. So everyone goes, "Oh, he must be just crying crying in the corner and just not really knowing what to do. He's like a little kid in a playground." So
I couldn't believe what I was seeing on Twitter after that England game. People saying that because Joe Hart had admitted that he made a mistake, then it was all right,
yeah, yeah,
which is
that's what I'm trying to get
absolute
to.
rubbish.
Because he kind of either deflects it to other teammates or takes the whole blame for it, that's okay. If you apologise someone for murdering someone, I know it's very drastic, but if you apologise for murdering someone, it doesn't make it right, and then you can go and do it again, and then you won't get any blame for doing it next time because you've learnt from your mistake. Um, I just, I, I just think it's very unfair on De Gea because he can't speak up. He's obviously doesn't want to do many interviews. He just can't defend his actions, and
Put it this
therefore,
way: if Joe Hart was Spanish and De Gea was English, everyone would be sympathising with De Gea every time he made a mistake.
yeah,
But because Joe Hart's English and they all hope that he's going to develop into this incredible goalkeeper, so he's good for England, then they'll excuse all his mistakes. I mean, it's complete rubbish.
Yeah, it's like the English mentality, isn't it? English players kind of get that special treatment. Like the transfer fees, you pay more for English players. Why is that? Because they're from England. You just why are they sugar coated against other players coming in? Cazzola, is it
Cazorla, I don't know,
Cazzola?
I'm not sure.
He come in for a price really really cheap. But like if you compare it to I don't know who was brought.
Jordan Henderson.
Yeah,
Andy Carroll. Andy Carroll, there
yeah.
you go.
Right. Let's just look at Liverpool sign. You look at them. Why are they paying over three times, two times the price of Cazzola, who's obviously performed better in Europe, but because
Cazorla's worth twice as much as what Arsenal paid for him.
yeah, that's what I mean though. But because people think, oh, he's in the Spanish league, it must be weaker. He's not English. He's not going to be worth that more. He's not going to fit in with the lifestyle and all that kind of stuff. Oh, he's not worth that much. He's not. He, he he's worth three times what they brought him for, maybe. And then you look at Jordan Henderson, Andy Carroll, like overpriced for not an inch of the talent that Cazorla has. Um, so I just find it very very silly how the English media and the English players get this little treatment where they are worth more. They get if they do apologise and come out, it makes everything that little bit sweeter. So yeah, in the answer to the main question, I think De Gea should start every single game apart from injury. I don't care,
Absolutely.
if he's getting tired and knackered, then obviously give him that break. But he's got to be in there. He's got to be in and around the first team. He's got to get used to all of the playing that solid. That you look at Brad Friedel. How many games did he have playing that record?
310, I want to say.
That's
crazy. Yeah.
yeah, but the amount of chemistry he's built with the centre backs would have
Yeah, I
been
mean,
immense. He would have
it
been
builds an understanding. I mean, the more De Gea plays with the likes of Evans and Ferdinand, the more they understand each other, and the more they can read what each other are going to do, and
yeah.
that's only a good thing.
Yeah, so I think so we kind of talked about a bit long for that. Have you got any other topics you want to kind of discuss, or is there anything else you want to add?
No, not really.
I can't really think of anything. Oh, actually, I'm just gonna ask your predictions for the Braga game and the
Oh
Chelsea game.
gosh, Braga, I'm gonna go with a 3-1 win.
Yep.
Chelsea, I'm gonna go with a 1-1.
Who's to score for United in the Chelsea game?
Rooney.
All right. I'm gonna go for the Braga game. Gonna go for a 2-0 win for United, and then for the Chelsea game, I'm gonna go for a 1-0 win for United. But I'm gonna say
You'll regret that.
yeah, I am. If Kagawa starts, then I'll say Kagawa to score first. Well, to score. Or if he doesn't, then Van Persie. So yeah,
Okay then.
that's my predictions. If you have any predictions, people and viewers, if you stuck around for this long podcast, if you could write your predictions in the comment section below, or you can tweet us at Goals for me, or you can Red Heart
United
for
for
Connor.
me.
So yeah, if you have any predictions for the two games and who's going to score in both, that would be welcome, and we can kind of compare after the games have been complete, and we might give you a little cheeky shout out. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to click the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the other episodes of FergieTime podcast. This has been Lewis, and I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Connor?
And this has been Connor. Hope you enjoyed.
Alright, see you later.